Adjust those headphones, get locked in your gaming chair, get the caffeine flowing, and get ready for a crosshair conversation with Chrissy. You ready to load in? Hi, I'm Crystal. Otherwise, I go by Chrissy, and some people know me as ChrissyHQ. If you're on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, all the other platforms, it's ChrissyHQ. But this is my first episode of my new podcast called Crosshair Conversations. I'm like the virtual sniper. We're going to be taking some aim at the tech and gaming industry, everything in between and beyond. And this right here is a new journey for me. Stick with me. I really don't know what I'm doing. Honestly, I recorded episode 1 6 times the other day and it didn't save. So this is our second time today and hopefully I get it right. But it's time to adjust your crosshairs, put on those headphones, lean forward in your gaming chairs. We're about to no-scope some topics real quick. And bear with me. I spent a lot of time working on those puns. I think they're funny. But if you don't, that's fine. Anyways, mostly what I'm going to be talking about, or a lot of what I'm going to talk about, is how the gaming and tech industry is very male-dominated. Females are joining, though, and I think that that's a huge thing that needs to be hit on. Females are succeeding. Females are beginning to make a change in the field, and I love that. Now, with that also being said, no matter what you identify as, whatever your pronoun you go by is, you're welcome here. And I want to make that very clear. I appreciate you. I love everyone just the same. Unless you physically hurt me, nothing gets on my nerves, you know? So everyone is welcome here. And I actually encourage you to be here. Like I said, we're going to make some comments and talk about those get in the kitchen comments and those go make me a sandwich threats. We're definitely going to hit on that and just toxic masculinity in the FPS world. But we're going to talk about a lot of other stuff as well. So you're welcome here. I hope you enjoy. We're definitely going to talk about professionals in the gaming and tech industry, the ones that are changing the game, breaking those stereotypes. Shout out Potter for winning the Esports Coach of the Year at the Game Awards. I thought that was awesome. I personally love Potter, but so I voted. But that was exciting. And for a moment, let's just talk about the Game Awards. I mean, I guess we really don't need to. It's been all over Twitter or X and all socials anyways. But I watch the Game Awards every year. I feel like, yeah, it was a little long, but we don't need to cut anyone's speeches anymore. Let's stop doing that. But it was definitely a long show. Otherwise, besides that, we're going to talk about tech. We're definitely going to talk about tech, gadgets, accessories, the things like that. Like if it's a smart home device, I'm going to love it. One of my dreams is to have a smart home, like a fully smart home controlled by a panel or a tablet. Like I want everything to be smart. I love that. If it has RGB lights, I'm most likely guaranteed to buy it and talk about it a lot. Govee Life, that new Govee Life segment or section of Govee's, like, what is it? Their business. I'm obsessed. I got the space heater. I got the oil diffuser, as well as all the lights around me are Govee lights already. So love that. I'm also noticing one of the lights is not on right now, but it's too late. We already started. Back to the tech and the gadgets that I love, though. Anything iconic. I'm a millennial. I'm like the millennial. So anything millennial-esque, I'm going to talk about that as well. For example, the Android Baby Fat collaboration. I'm getting that phone. I'm getting it. The Android Flip with Baby Fat, I'm getting it. I check the website every day to see when it's going to drop. And it just keeps saying coming soon. When is soon? I need to know. But we're going to totally talk about that. Something cool with tech that I like to look at and read articles on is how tech is being used to address social and environmental issues, hitting on renewable energy and power. For example, did you know that they're building, or they've already built and they're testing a public road or a segment of the road that can charge a electric vehicle as you drive along it? And what's crazy is that actually happening up here in the upper Midwest in Michigan. And I just heard that there's one also, don't quote me, I think it's Sweden, but somewhere else is testing this as well. But what's crazy to me is this is obviously the upper hemisphere the upper Midwest, if you've lived here or visited here, we have crazy weather between snow and ice and crazy temperatures below zero. How does that work? But I also think it's super cool because not everyone can like take the time to go to a charging station. And for me myself, I can't afford a charging station at my house. So I think that that's an awesome, really cool feature that, or really cool, I don't know what to call it, but I think it's a great invention. And I want to see what we do with that and how it works. Now, on that note, we got to talk about another segment that's going to be part of this podcast. It was called The Culture with Chrissy. If you've known me, ChrissyHQ, for a while, you've probably heard of The Culture with Chrissy. And The Culture with Chrissy is now it's a segment of this podcast, but it was its own little podcast or show that I had on YouTube. And what actually was happening is I was interviewing individuals and professionals in the gaming and tech industry. For example, I interviewed a Twitch partner. Super fun interview. I think that we're best friends now. But he told us the lowdown on being a Twitch partner, being a full-time streamer, what was in his future and his past, the games that he loves, and just how to keep that momentum as a streamer and stay motivated. And that was a really awesome interview. Another one of the interviews that I did was a game developer of actually a horror game, which is crazy because I don't even play scary games. But the one day I decided to play a scary game, he actually hopped into my chat and introduced himself, and we talked it up, and I think we're besties too. So we talked. I did an interview with him to learn about the process of developing your own game, see what's also in the future for him, maybe some sequels, something like that. And we've gamed together since then. Both of those episodes are still on my YouTube, so if you want to go check those out, that would be awesome. But right now, I'm going to be merging The Culture with Chrissy with Crosshair Conversations. So I'm going to make it a small segment of some of these episodes every now and then. Not going anywhere. It's time for us to still do interviews with people in the industry because we need to get those secrets of the industry. We need to learn. Oh my gosh, I was getting all raspy there. Sorry for the pause. I had to clear my throat. But again, this is my first podcast ever. Bear with me. We're getting there. Back to the topics though that I'm going to be going through. I really am excited about the future of tech, and I know that it scares people. I know that that's a huge thing nowadays, is that we're scared to see how far we're going to take this. For example, the movie Megan, which I'm not going to lie, I haven't seen yet. I do want to see though. A lot of people were freaking out about that because they were like, this is very possible that this could actually happen. And we've heard it before of there was a team of scientists that had two robots that would learn as they go, and they eventually made their own language. Like, let's think about that for a minute. The two robots made their own language and communicated between each other, and we didn't know what they were saying. It's kind of crazy, but also super cool if you look at it from my point. I just think this is so exciting. But like the road in Michigan that charges electrical cars, like I was telling you, besides the weather issue, for people that can't afford electrical cars, myself, how is that going to affect our cars or our batteries or the electrical systems in our cars as we drive along those same roads? Is there going to be some type of malfunctions that could happen? All of that is very scary, but also something I'm totally into and need to know more of. Something that I'm really excited about that we're going to be hitting on that bounces back between the future of tech is AI. As of September, I went back to school for computer programming and taking a few classes in AI and the future of AI. And man, it's getting smarter and smarter every day. And I'm just so excited to see it take on more and assist us with our daily lives. I'm excited. Like, I hope other people feel the same way. I'm sorry, water break time. This is crazy. The first few times I recorded this, I did not need water. I was not getting all choked up, but it's okay. We're rolling with it. This is so authentic right now. This is anyways, back to what I was saying about AI. AI is becoming smarter and smarter every day. I'm excited for it to take on more to help us with our daily tasks. And if you come to my stream on Twitch, ChrissyHQ, or on Kick, ChrissyHQ. I have a bot currently on my Twitch page, and it's an AI generated bot. So if I do a shout out, and normally when you do a shout out, it hits you with a nice, cute little thing in the chat, like, go check out my friend, post their link. They're super cool, and that's it. This AI bot goes in, somehow goes to your profile, and makes a paragraph of basically a bio of you, and makes it so fun and interesting too, and really tells us more about you, drops your link as well, and helps the community really get to know you. And I think that's crazy that like technology can do that fast. Literally in less than 15 seconds, it does all of that. Now, on the scary part of things, when I was streaming the Game Awards, I had the bot active. And whenever there's an ad break, it posts some catchy little thing. And during the Game Awards, I'll admit, I was critiquing outfits left and right. That's something I love to do. And I must have said something about an outfit right before the ad break. But the AI bot put in the chat, incoming ad. To hear more fashion critiques by ChrissyHQ, stay tuned for the next 2 minutes and we'll be right back. And it kind of freaked me out, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it kind of made me wonder how it knew that. Like, I'm audibly speaking, I'm the streamer co-streaming the Game Awards, not typing. So it was actually listening, and I think that that's wild. But again, so exciting. I use Chat GPT probably every other day, if not every day, to help with captions or stream titles, or just things like that. Even the name of this podcast didn't directly come from Chat GPT, but the inspiration came from Chat GPT because I could not figure out what I wanted to name this. But with that being said, that's a lot of topics that we're going to cover in the next couple of episodes and hopefully forever. But for the first episode, I just want to tell you guys a little bit more about me. Since you don't know much about me, and we're going to be exploring these tech lobbies together, I figure you want to know who you're going to respawn with every time you click the episode button. So take a moment to subscribe, like, and bookmark this podcast so you don't miss a single episode. And do me a favor, leave a comment, join the conversation. Let's pretend that I'm your duo and you're trying to help me boost my KD. And we're trying to catch that dub. And in order to catch that dub, we got to have great comms. And so leave a comment down below. All right. That's probably like the last little pun I'm going to throw in there because they're getting kind of cheesy, but I'm having fun. Back to me. Let's lock in. I'm Crystal. I go by Chrissy. I'm currently Midwest based, but specifically in the Twin Cities in good old Minnesota. I've loved tech and gadgets since I could remember. Obviously, I've said this for quite most of this podcast. And kind of a fun little story comes with that. So when I was really young, before I could remember, my aunt tells this story all the time. And my aunt is probably one of my biggest inspirations in life. She's an amazing woman. She is my biggest inspiration. We'll just put it that way. She's a professor at Iowa State University. And growing up, I spent a lot of time with her on campus as well. She's in the computer science field. So we spent a lot of time on the computer. And what we would do is play games. I remember one time we made a design and printed it out on a shirt. And so I got to make my own clothes on the computer, just fun stuff like that I thought was cool. But when I was young, I always asked to play on the computer with her. And she tells this story all the time, and my family thinks it's so funny. Back then, I was not able to say the word computer. I was just young, and I've had problems with words a lot. But she says, and it's so funny when they say it, but I used to ask, can I play on the pooter? Yep, I used to call it the pooter. I don't know. Now that I'm older, I think it's funny, but like, I probably didn't think it was funny back then when they would laugh at me. I don't really know. It was so long ago. Like I said, years ago. At the moment, I'm currently 29. As of January 12th, I will be 29 again. I refuse to level up this year. It's not happening. I'm a Capricorn, so I think I can make that decision. But honestly, growing up in tech has just been a huge part of my life and has not really stopped. I call myself the family IT person. I've assisted my parents with pretty much every cell phone purchase that they've ever made. And honestly, that's a really good thing because I don't know what we could be stuck with if I didn't help. But Now I live far away, so my parents kind of hit Geek Squad up every now and then. But what's funny is with their Geek Squad account, somehow they have connected their Geek Squad account with my cell phone number. And yes, I could change this at any time, but it's actually come in clutch pretty well. Like when they request for Geek Squad to come out to the house, I can intercept and be like, hey, why are we calling Geek Squad? Why are they showing up on Tuesday at 4 o'clock? Or I can call Geek Squad from the jump and be like, hey, what do they need? And figure out if it's really something Geek Squad needs to help out with, or if I have the patience to help my parents out with it that day over the phone. So now I'm like the long distance IT person in the family. And I think that's kind of cool. Um, I help them when I can. And I'll probably always be the IT person. It's fun if you have patience. As for myself, I own about 8 different console gaming devices. It's kind of fun. I don't really use them. I'm not even gonna lie. I use them mostly for like Netflix, Hulu now because of my gaming PC. But I've saved all of my Xboxes over the years. I've been an Xbox gal forever, and I wasn't allowed as a kid to play shooters, but when it came to any dancing game, Barbie game, Mario, things like that, definitely was in. I called myself the Mario Kart champ forever, especially the Wii. I was killing it. All Star Cheer Squad on the Wii. I think I played more than the developers of that game. That was my ish. And then there was a plug and play that I don't have it anymore, unfortunately. But me and my brother played that like no other. And it had all those little retro brick breaking games and stuff like that. I loved that machine. Sorry, water. But okay. Besides the games, which eventually I already talked about my dream house. Someday I hope to have a dream house, like I said, that's all smart, everything. But I hope my office one day is going to be game inspired. No matter what industry I'm in at that point, I want an Xbox wall, kind of like a museum. That's why I still have all my Xboxes. And I want them on the wall. And honestly, after getting the PS5, it might get a spot on the wall too. Haven't decided yet. But that's why I've kept everything. The Wii, the Meta, everything. It's gonna stick with me forever for hopes of that office one day with big windows and a beautiful view. But that's enough of that. Throughout the years, I've also done some photography, so I have a nice little collection of Nikon DSLRs that I still do use to this day, as well as Nikon vlogging cameras. And I don't want to hear it. Nikon over Canon over Sony. It's Nikon. It just is. That's it. But with that comes the experience of Photoshop, any Adobe service. Premiere Pro specifically is like my thing right now. I enjoy editing. I do a lot of basic gaming edits that you can find on like my IG or on my TikTok from my Twitch and Kick live streams, mostly Call of Duty and Valorant. But I do some basic edits for others as well. I could do some intense edits, but I don't know. I crank out basic edits. That's what I do. Maybe I'll get a little bit more intricate with it after this podcast, now that I've said this. But I do love editing. But besides editing, Call of Duty and Valorant, I guess the other things I like to do is try new foods, new restaurants. I am a pescatarian, so that's only seafood proteins. Um, Sometimes it makes it difficult, but right now, oh, I hyper fixate on food. Sometimes it's kind of funny, like salad. I worked this job with my best friend, and we ate from the salad place every day for like 3 months because that was just my thing then. And for me, it was like the same salad too. I just loved it. But right now, I'm kind of going through like a Mediterranean phase, and that's been really cool. The Asian market by my house, oh my gosh, every couple of months they'll see me every day for 3 weeks, and I just go through those phases. I love food. I mean, I love food. That's all that needs to be said about that. But I also love shopping. I have a terrible addiction to the Mall of America. I'm not gonna lie. I love that place. Even though crime is increasing there and they're warning us every other day and things like that, I love the Mall of America. And I'll probably bring that up a lot more, but shopping is definitely up there with some of my favorite things to do. Speaking of that, though, I have a little love for fashion and beauty, mostly looking at it, critiquing at it, not really doing it, or I dress for comfort. That's a huge thing. But would it be interesting to maybe do some episodes on techwear and how like we're evolving and our technology is evolving and we're creating clothes to work with that and what we might encounter in the future? Let me know if you guys would be interested in that. Definitely put that in the comments. But I think it would be cool. Back to the Mall of America, but it's like, gosh, 12 minutes away from my house, not even. And so that's not really a long trek. It's not a long drive at all. And whew, why am I so thirsty? But it's not a long trek at all. 12 minutes down the road and back. Not far, but it is a travel technically. And with that being said, another one of my hobbies is traveling. I love to travel. I'm going to throw it out there now. I'm a Delta babe. I think that's important. I love Delta. Every flight I've taken in my life, except for one, has been Delta, and that was not my choice. And I don't know why, but I find that important. I make it a huge part of my personality. So now you know. But I've been to both coasts of the United States. I've been all over the Midwest. Haven't really ventured down much to the South, but now it's 2024 and that's on the agenda. So if you have any travel destination suggestions, be sure to drop those in the comments as well. But here's the thing. I've done a bit of traveling this year, and a decision is coming up. I'm like stuttering. A decision is coming up that I think is coming faster than I'm ready for, but also later than I think I wanted. Leaving the Midwest. It's been a goal of mine forever. And like I said, I thought I'd be gone by now. But I'm not going to say the past few extra years here have been a whiff at all. I think I learned actually a lot. And I think now the problem is I don't know where I want to go. Like the hustle and the speed of Manhattan and the boroughs and the East Coast, specifically New York, it draws me out there. Jersey as well, but it draws me out there, right? The diversity and the culture, all the boroughs are so different. There's so many parts of New York that I love. I used to have family that was out there, but it calls me out there, and I love the city living. I don't love, like I used to love driving, but I don't need to drive. I love public transit. I currently live in a condo, so I'd love a high-rise condo, with a view at least. So it totally would work for me, and that's always been an option. That's always been on my mind. But on the other side of the country, we have Los Angeles, and I've been out there plenty of times. I have family that resides out there currently, and you can't beat that weather. As well as they're so close to esports headquarters and tech startups all over Southern California, it just kind of seems, at least in this industry, that would be the perfect choice. Right? Like, that would be perfect. But maybe I don't need to go that far either. I've kind of come to think about that a little bit. Honestly, I've grown up in Minnesota and I've not really loved the thought of Chicago, but I've traveled there a bit through this year and I've seen the potential. And well, I'm not going to lie, Chicago is now on the list. Let's not get ahead of ourselves though. It's not high up on the list, but it's on the list at least. So with that being said, I hope to travel to all these places and more this year. And whether that's for leisure or conventions and conferences, I hope to just like make a decision by the end of 2024 and get ready, because I feel like I'm ready. I just need a destination. And yeah, if you guys have anything to say about that, again, drop those in the comments. I'd love to know what you all want to think about that. But let me leave you with one last thought to end the Get to Know Me podcast, episode 1. Trust me, we're going to hit on this so many times in other episodes as well. But as I sign off, let me remind you, it's Android over Apple any day. Point blank, period. Android over Apple. Don't at me. That's it. We'll talk about that later. I'm Crystal, or ChrissyHQ. That's enough of this conversation. Again, subscribe, bookmark, like this podcast. Keep your controllers charged and your batteries stocked. Keep your caffeine flowing, and I hope that your ping is low. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.